I'm Sierra.
And this is
And They Were Readers.
It's Black History Month.
Woo!
Yeah. The words just like ran away and I watched them.
That's okay. Where's your coffee?
We're down here.
Okay.
I feel like right now, the way the media is, so much is happening that I forgot it was Black History Month.
I mean, like, every day, something new.
Every day,
if you live in the
something,
United States, I feel like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's
Half
just like,
of you don't.
Yeah.
So.
It's just like constant news updates.
It's like, this is happening. Actually, it's not.
Yeah.
And you're like...
It's like, this is happening, but now we're on to the next thing,
it
so
feels like
forget
political
that.
whiplash.
Yeah. But it is Black History Month, so let's take some time, hold space for Black History Month. Yeah, so we're gonna go through. We have different like vibes of recommendations for books to read. Some we have read, some we haven't read that we want to read.
I like the titles.
Thank you. Yeah, Sierra did a lot of the book research, and then I added the fun little titles.
Which I love. That is so our vibe.
So there should be something for everybody, whether you're into romance, fantasy, essays, nonfiction, memoirs. We're gonna touch on all of them.
And some of these we have not read yet. This will be a mix of recommendations as well as what we hope to read in these categories. I think part of it also is like Black History Month sometimes can be a lot of learning, and I think it's important to learn. Please learn. But also just like it's a time to celebrate Black history, which is also like romance stories and love stories and fantasy and like amazing. I was gonna say children, but there's a specific book that I'm thinking of that she's like such a cool kid.
Legendborn?
I was thinking of Amari, but yeah, we'll get
to
that.
We'll get to
that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's dive into it, shall we?
Our first category is like it's Oscars. Potent prose.
Yeah.
So these are shorter books that just have writing that makes you feel something. Often connected to the learning aspect of Black History Month.
Yep.
And to like getting an insight into Black stories from a historical perspective or from a educational perspective.
Yeah, they're really punchy.
Yeah. So the first one, have you read this one yet?
No, I have not.
Passing by Nella Larson.
Yes, indeed.
So, I read this last July, and I think that this book is so good. Basically, you have two people, both who could live their lives as passing white. So what does that mean? It does not mean that people are passing away, that they're dying. Context.
Yeah. Important.
They're Black folks who like have skin color that can pass as white in society.
Correct.
So in the I don't know when this is set. I feel like it's the 20s. This book kind of navigates what it's like to choose to live as passing, and like a Black woman ends up marrying a white man. This white man's pretty racist, but she lives with it because she is white to the world and was like embracing that culture because it is what helps her in so many ways societally, right? And so she makes that choice and sacrifices in one way to be able to navigate society and to like survive in a way. This book is so good. It reads like almost like a thriller, but it's not a thriller. But just like this, the feeling you get of like something's off, something's and it's like
suspense.
It's good. Okay. So that one was really helpful because I think it laid a foundation for literature to discuss this topic. I'm sure it was written before then, but I think Nella Larson really brought it to the forefront in a narrative that probably, like, it's a classic. It's something that I picked up because it was a classic book that felt like I had to read it, and I was right. I'm so glad I read it.
Nice.
Okay, the next one you can talk about.
It is, Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
And we both have read this one.
We both read this one
the same month that I read Passing.
That's true. And it was phenomenal. It's nonfiction. I think Passing is fiction, correct?
Passing is fiction.
Cool.
And a classic. Whereas Between the World and Me is like a
more contemporary
nonfiction.
So this is Ta-Nehisi Coates. It is kind of just a book about the Black experience. We have a friend who has probably finished it by now. But listening to somebody react to Ta-Nehisi Coates' writing in this book it kind of made me excited to to read it again in the future.
100%. I was like, I want to read that again.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that feeling, but I don't remember the words, so I want to go back and discover it again.
I just really love that book. It's brilliant.
It's phenomenal.
He has another one, doesn't he?
He does. That I just saw in the bookstore when we were in Colorado, and I almost impulse bought it, and I said, John, we're trying to have self-control this year.
Judicious, if you will.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, it's called The Message. And they have similar covers, which maybe I just need to rebuy Between the Worlds and Me.
Wait, because that one's in German?
It's not in German.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
It's a tiny little red book. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
It's translated fully at each page.
Yes, into German, at the bottom. And I'm like, why did they do that? Anyway, next.
Ooh, Recitative by Toni Morrison.
Yeah.
So this has like a similar vibe of passing, but like in this super short. Y'all can listen to it. I'm sure it's at your Libby. It's like 45 minutes, okay? Everybody should listen to this. And as you're listening to it or reading it, you don't know who's black or white because they never say. You're relying on your assumptions of who's black and white based upon how they're describing things. And so like when I was first listening to it, I was like, okay, I think this person's black and this person's white just inherently. Mm-hmm. And then they said something, I was like, but that's not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be atypical of like the stereotypes that I would assume. And I loved the way that she just like played with your mind.
Yeah.
And really had you unpack your biases just by listening or reading a very short book.
Absolutely.
So definitely recommend it if you are interested in like just having that little social experiment with yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's so well written, and it's a great reflection on yourself as a person who, like, if you live in the United States, as a person who lives in a mixed culture, in a predominantly white culture, all of that, where we have assumptions that are built based upon our history and also our society that's like kind of emerging today. Yeah. So I think it's still really relevant.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a classic as well.
Yeah. Next is The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. James Baldwin, I miss you. I don't know what. I don't know why I haven't been reading your books.
Honestly, so true.
Right? It's been a while.
I've only read that one.
That's crazy to me.
I know.
I've only read one more. What am I saying?
Okay, right.
I really want to read If Beale Street Could Talk.
That was in our comments recently as one we should read ASAP.
Yeah. So, I miss his writing. Mm-hmm. I need to get back to it.
He's one of those authors that I was reading and I was like, your writing is something that I aspire to do one day. Like,
absolutely.
I don't think I could ever do that.
Yeah.
You did this for hours a day. Like, this is your craft.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
Yeah.
Sir.
Thank you. So we'll be getting back to that, hopefully.
What is it?
But The Fire Next Time is a nonfiction.
It's over there.
It is a nonfiction. But it, again, kind of just describes the black experience from a different time period. And it was really interesting to read Between the World and Me and The Fire Next Time back to back, like in tandem. To see the similarities, the things that have changed, and the way that these two authors interpreted their lives in the U.S. So, highly recommend it. That's his name. James Baldwin's writing is so good. Same with Ta-Nehisi Coates. All these writers are phenomenal.
Actually, these four excellent writers. Yeah. I'd say Nella Larson is the least, like, addictive prose-wise. Mm-hmm. I think the other three have her own prose.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
And I think Coates and Baldwin are better than Morrison from a prose perspective, but not from a storytelling perspective yet, because I don't know their fiction. But Toni Morrison's fiction, ooh,
crazy. She's wild.
Her plot, I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
But her prose, I think, like, if I were to rank their prose, Baldwin is, like, my favorite.
Absolutely. This one, next category, I titled African American Adventure Time.
I think that's so cute.
So, the first one, I'll let you talk about this one. It's called Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston.
Middle school, like middle grade fantasy, I believe, and a family member of mine really enjoyed this series, and so that's why it came onto my radar, is because I like want to read what like the kids in my life are reading. I just haven't yet, so sorry about that.
I can do the short one, or I can do this one.
Do the short one.
Okay, so
Artemis Fowl.
Like Artemis Fowl, yeah.
Oh, meets.
Yeah. Okay. if you just let me.
Yeah. Sure.
Artemis Fowl meets Men in Black in this exhilarating debut middle grade fantasy, the first in a trilogy filled with #Black Girl Magic. Perfect for fans of Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. I've heard of that. Oh, the Percy Jackson series.
Yeah.
And Nevermore.
Yeah. So what is her thing?
What? Yeah, this is what I was.
Okay, Amari Peters has never stopped believing her missing brother, Quentin, is alive. Not even when the police told her otherwise, or when she got in trouble for standing up to bullies who said he was gone for good. Oh, so I think you're going to be following the story about her searching for her brother, which I love a story of like don't tell me my brother's missing, I'm going to go find him. I love that kind of energy, because I love a mystery, you know?
You do love a mystery.
I'm a mystery
You like to solve things.
I know.
I
love puzzles.
I know. Yeah.
But not like the jigsaw ones. Those are not my favorite puzzles. And it has a cool cover.
It does have a cool cover.
Okay. Speaking of cool covers,
yeah.
the next one we're going to talk about is Legendborn by Tracy Dion.
I talked about this before because I purchased it.
I also have it. I don't know why I have it. Did I buy it?
You did buy it.
That's really chaotic of me.
Yeah. The description is, after her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seemed like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies.
Ooh,
a secret society...
Sorry.
Yeah. A secret society of so-called legend-born students that hunts the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. So, again, sounds kind of mysterious, but also, like, not dark academia, but I do like that it is, like, a campus novel. I did not know it took place at UNC Chapel Hill. That's really fun.
Yeah, I started that book and I was like, I was just there.
Yeah. So that'll be really cool. I'm excited to get into it. I'm afraid of starting another series.
Oh, for me that's not a series.
Yeah, because you're good at that. You're good at it. Yeah, and it's simply not.
I agree.
But I do have an update for those of you who may be concerned. I'm not gonna keep reading the Fourth Wing trilogy.
Oh.
I decided. I kept looking at like people's responses.
Did you finish Iron Flame?
I didn't even start.
Guys, okay, everyone. He bought me Fourth Wing in our like second video.
Yeah, and I finished. I did read that one.
I didn't even touch it.
No.
I don't even know where it is. It's on my bookshelf. But like, you know.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, like life is, you know, fleeting.
Yeah.
And there's only so many books that you can read.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really good ones that I already own.
Such good books. Such good books. So yeah, but we'll watch the show. So we haven't read any of these on this category.
I realize that. Yeah.
That's pretty tough.
We don't read a lot of fantasy to begin with. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
But these are ones that are high priority now.
Correct. Yeah.
Including something that's been on my list for so long. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. It's a Nigerian American author, I believe, who wrote a young adult fantasy. This is the description that it starts with. Ready? They killed my mother.
Oh.
They took our magic.
Oh.
They tried to bury us.
Oh.
Now we rise. I'm reading it.
That's so good.
I'm reading it immediately.
Expeditiously. Well, don't tell him that.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a lie. Lie. Deny.
It's so long. It's over 500 pages. There's no way it's happening soon. For those of you interested in young adult fantasy, one of my friends read it and said that they really enjoyed it. Let me see. Oh, it has an average of a 4.1 on Storygraph with 56,000 reviews. So I feel like it's a pretty good book, and I really want to read it. So I'm excited about that one.
Nice. The next one on the list is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin.
Let's talk about N.K. Jemisin.
We don't know anything about her.
Nothing.
So, when we were doing the pre-pro for this video, the pre-production for this video, we just found out N.K. Jemisin is black. We had no idea.
I know that's crazy, but it's like, when you see authors on the shelf, you don't see their picture most of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. No one told us.
No one told us.
Why didn't anyone tell us?
Sorry. But I've heard so much about the fifth season in this, like, series.
You bought it, right?
No. You think so little of me. You think I just throw money out the door.
No. I thought you bought it. No. That wasn't supposed to be a slight. I was like, slam, no, slide, no.
Anyway, I don't own it yet.
Okay.
But I probably will eventually.
I probably will thrift book this almost immediately.
Okay, that's fair. I'm trying still to not add too many books to my shelf. That's the goal. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah, but this is different.
You see, but there's always an exception.
This is the fifth season.
There's always an exception.
She won the Hugo Award.
She did.
What else
and it has an average of 4.4 on Storygraph. I know. People love this book. Anyway, let's see what it's about.
An icon.
At the end of the world, a woman must hide her secret power and find her kidnapped daughter. Okay. The little description. This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy.
You better. You better work.
The next category, it does feel like the Oscars or the Grammys.
Yes.
An award show. Is literary libations.
And that's our category.
Yeah, this is all literary fiction vibes.
And that's what we started on, that's our vibe. That's where we live.
That's our foundation.
Yeah,
that's where we came from.
And the first book in this category is
The Vanishing Half
by Britt Bennett.
Good job.
Thank you. You read?
Yeah, but you liked it more than me.
it.
No, no. This I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking at you like.
Yeah, it felt like a pop quiz.
Yeah. Sorry.
This is kind of like. Not like a spin-off, but like a retelling of Passing by Nella Larson.
You've never read Passing.
But you just explained it to me, and I've heard you explain it like 5 times in my life, so back
but
off.
You don't know how Passing ends, so you can't really say that.
Sure, but the concept is the same.
The concept's the same.
You know what? You talk about it.
No, sorry. Keep going.
So we have 2 sisters, both who could live their lives passing as white. One chooses to do so, and one chooses not to. And that's honestly all I remember because I didn't.
And I love this book.
Yeah, you liked it a lot more than me. Which is why I thought you should talk about it.
No, I know. I just wanted to see what you remembered. I was curious because we haven't talked about it in a while.
Yeah.
There's actually not much more that we should say from this book because I think it would give it away. But you kind of see how their lives diverge and then what happens to individuals at this time period and then how they might or might not converge. Like if their paths ever cross again.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful book. I loved it so much. That's all.
The next one we haven't read yet is James by Percival Everett. This one was either longlisted or shortlisted for the Booker Prize last year.
It's on the list.
It was listed.
It was good.
This is, I don't know if it's a retelling or a continuation of Huckleberry Finn from the perspective of Jimmy. I am halfway through Huckleberry Finn, kind of just like forever.
Yeah, I saw that on Libby.
Yeah, because I was listening to the audiobook and then I forgot what happened. I think I was listening to it while traveling and then I was like at the place, forgot to listen to it, and then the library took it away from me. Which is their right. And I was like,
but
kind
you
of
can
lost.
get it back.
I can get it back.
That was
easily.
at a time where my library was on hold, and so you couldn't get it from my library.
That's what it was. So I was traveling again, and I was like, oh, let me just finish Huckleberry Finn. My library doesn't have it. Hers does. Sierra had outstanding books to return.
But I did it. I promise.
She did return
right
it.
Before I left.
But her library was like, you can't talk to us because you're not cool enough. And I was like,
give us our books back,
yeah.
and then we can talk.
And I was like, what do you mean? I don't have any of your books. And I was like, Sierra. So I immediately texted her and I was like, girl, what you doing over there? And she was like, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, I need it now. Anyway, so this James is a either continuation or just a different perspective on Huckleberry Finn from the perspective of the black character in the book.
Which in my mind, I'm like, how can this be like so good? Because we already like know the story. But apparently this book is poppin'.
Yeah.
Poppin'.
Yeah. It's similar to like in my head how we have 1984 and then we have Julia that was written and came out afterwards.
Didn't know that.
That's crazy.
Who's Julia?
I'm going to talk about these next two.
Okay, yeah. I love them. You also read Transcendent Kingdom.
I did.
You gave it 4.75.
Yeah, but I forgot everything that happened.
Okay, basically Transcendent Kingdom is looking at a black woman whose family has immigrated from Africa. And I don't remember the exact country because it's been a really long time right now. But she is a PhD in biology, and she's like doing all these tests on little mice in her book. And then as you're reading about the mice and like her interaction with that, you're also thinking about like her past, and she's kind of isolated in this moment, and so she's thinking about her family and kind of interweaving the stories of her upbringing with her experiments in the lab. So as someone who's like very into neuroscience and experiments and the academic journey, I think I really connected with it, as well as the stories that she was telling about her family. Because the immigrant experience, even if you're from different countries, like there's a lot of parallels that kind of end up happening when your parents are from a different country and they move to the United States. So, because of that, I think I deeply connected with it. I gave it to a handful of people, and they did not connect with it as much. So I don't think this book is for everyone, but it was a 5-star read for me.
And Transcendent Kingdom is by?
Yeah, Jassy.
Good job.
Finally, it's been years.
It has been years.
The next book is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo, and you've heard me sing this book from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Because, wow, it was so good. It took me a while to get through. I will say that.
It's a big book.
It's a big book, and it's like, I've been listening to this story about this one girl for so long. Who cares? But it's like, that's kind of the point, I think, is to be like, these are real people's stories, even though they're not. Like, it makes it feel more real when you're in it for a while, and you're really understanding their intentions and their motivations and how they interact with one another. It was a really well done book, so that's it.
Cool. The next book is Isaac's Song by Daniel Black. This is the book that I got from Book of the Month that I haven't read yet, but it is on my shelf. I think a few weeks ago we read the little description of it, so I won't do it today. Just know that it's on my radar. It's
okay.
A little scary. Okay.
Yay! So that's our literary recommendations. We love. Some of these are old news, but they're still good, so read them if you haven't yet.
Read classic.
This is your reminder.
Yeah.
Okay. Next category
is Black Love.
Beautiful.
This is romance. We're just gonna start with this category of the banger. We talk about it all the time. It's Open Water by Caleb Zuma Nelson.
Someone in our comments recently was like, I read Open Water because of you all, and I was like, and it's one of their favorite books.
That's all I ever want. That's all I ever want to hear. Honestly, I love that book so much. I might reread it this year because it's been reread. It's a weird word to say. It's been a while, and I love it so much. It's like definitely in my reading all time like top 5. But up there with Orbital, you know. Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
So
I didn't realize it was that high.
Orbital's up
compared
there.
Compared
to what?
Open Water.
Oh.
That's all.
Okay.
They're both 6-star reads for you.
I don't know. I was ready to fight.
Yeah, I was like, nothing I'm saying is bad.
I was like, back off.
I was just like, I just didn't know.
I do love Open Water. It is so lyrically written, and it talks about Black love, but also like blackness in general, in England here, but it applies to everywhere.
Everywhere that's like
predominantly, everywhere that's a predominantly white society. And yeah, I just remember it was also near the beginning of my reading journey, so I'm interested to see if I reread it, if I'll have different opinions. I don't think I will.
I might.
You might.
It was the very first book I read in second person. So since then that's changed. Hong Kong does second person really well.
That's true.
So I don't know if I'll like think differently now.
I would say that one is romance, but also very literary.
That's true.
So it could kind of blend.
Yeah, it's literary romance. Yeah. I mean, most of the things we've talked about so far are literary, so that's just where we live.
That's what we do. Next is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Every time someone talks about this book, they say it is one of their favorite romance books ever. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I haven't gotten there. I kind of need to give Emily Henry a break, maybe, and jump to this and get into it. This is one that I was like, I would break my book buying ban to own this book.
That's fair.
As soon as possible.
Tia Williams also came out with a new book recently that I'm interested in. I have been having this book on my radar for so long, but I don't read romance. So like, I think that's been part of it.
I'll do it for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Partly because I typically like to listen to romance in the car if I'm doing romance, but I don't like a real romance in the car. Like, I'm not going to listen to Open Water in the car.
No, yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, apparently 6 Days in June is kind of sad.
7.
7 Days in June. I don't know why I changed it up.
I don't know why you did either.
Super. Are you going to buy it right now?
Huh? What? What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
What do you mean?
Jonathan.
What do you mean?
It's...
I can have it tomorrow. It could be the next book I read. I could finish The Beast Wing next.
Oh, you're still reading that book. That's crazy.
Dude, that book is... I'll talk about that later.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
you do that.
Okay.
Next we have, you made a fool... Sorry, it's just really funny to see someone purchasing a book immediately. Expeditiously.
I don't know what she's talking about.
You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akeke Emeze has been on my list for years. I bought it from Thrift Books when Jack Edwards years ago said, this is a book you should read. And I said, okay, let me thrift. Let me see what I can thrift is really what I would do after those videos. And I would be like, okay, this was like $5, this is $4, and okay, this is my budget.
Yeah.
And so I used to do that a long time ago. Purchased it in my possession. And then I never read it. I don't know why.
That's so you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But also kind of you now.
But I'm a big...
Just try it one more time. Yeah. Yeah, take your time.
Just cut it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm a big library girl.
That's what you're trying to say? Yeah. I thought it was going to be so much more groundbreaking.
But I said I'm big.
I know.
I'm big library girl.
We were all there.
They're not there, right? Anyway, the power you have over my life is astounding. It's okay, he doesn't anything. He's good. He's very judicious. Don't worry.
Are you good? You're tired. Hey, do you want me to take over? So I also bought You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty.
Guys, I worked this morning.
At the $1 bookstore in Bermuda. So now we both own it.
Oh, you did that.
So maybe we could buddy read it.
Oh, you did that. We're can we to that? We're already buddy reading with our other friends a whole other book.
That's fair. You know what? Fine. Actually, I didn't want to buddy read with you anyway. I'm just gonna keep talking. I read The Death of Beck Oji by the same author, and I enjoyed that book. You did.
But you didn't love it.
It was fine. It was good. Oh. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
That's that book. That got crazy. Let's go into the next category.
Okay, let's take a deep breath.
Okay. I'm okay. The next category is A Moment for Black Women Who Crushed It. And this is honestly just 2 offshoot memoirs that we wanted to talk about.
I'm adding a third.
Oh, 3 offshoot memoirs that we want to talk about. That we would be remiss if we went through this category and through this video without mentioning. The first one is Finding Me by Viola Davis.
Good.
If you don't know who she is, you've probably seen her on TV or
Have you seen How to Get Away with Murder?
Or Woman King. So this is her memoir. If you want to listen to it, she reads it and does it so well, which makes sense because it's hers. And crazy story, where she came from, like some of the stories in that book, my mouth is on the floor. There's one about a cat. I talked about it before. Kind of traumatized.
You still think about it?
I don't think
about that story.
That's crazy to me. I don't know how you read that and didn't think about just that. But yeah, it's
her memoir Her memoir made me feel seen in a way. Like I have nothing similar to her story, but the way she wrote made me feel like I could identify with how she was describing things and how she grew up and things like that. And so that was really powerful to me, that like we had a very similar different upbringing. Okay. Very different upbringing. Yeah. But she made me feel so deeply with how she was describing her own story. So that was really beautiful.
Nice. Cool.
Next is Becoming by Michelle Obama.
Correct.
This was a book I read before I got back into reading. I loved this book.
Same.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also loved it. I didn't really know about where she had come from, her career in law. I feel like with a lot of first ladies in the United States, if you aren't familiar with the term, the first lady is what we call the wife of the president of the United States, who up till now has been a man.
Right.
But anyway, a lot of the time they like kind of operate in the background. They all have their one kind of idea or project that they want to work on, whether it's like the garden or education, or Michelle Obama's was a lot of like nutrition and health amongst youth, but it was so cool to see that Michelle Obama is her own girl boss, regardless of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Like
she was a lawyer way before Barack ever became a lawyer.
Way before. Like Barack was like an assistant, and that's how they met in the office.
Yeah, he came to like interview for something, and she was like in charge.
Yeah. So that was it's crazy to read about, and then like her journey as her husband was trying to become the president of the United States. Wild. Yeah. Highly recommend. I read this one physically.
Me too.
And I wasn't bored.
Same.
And it's kind of thick.
It's less thick than A Promised Land, which I gave up on page 400.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not reading that book.
I'm sorry to that man.
I'm sorry to that man. I'm not reading that book. But yeah, that's that category.
So we read all of those.
Yeah.
Okay,
my bad.
This memoir I have not read yet, but I've heard good things about it. Thicker Than Water by Kerry Washington. She also reads it. That's the other Shonda Rhimes girly. Kerry Washington starred in Scandal, which is in the Shondaverse. And I actually love Scandal. I recommend if you want a crazy political drama, that's the one.
She was also in Little Fires Everywhere.
She's in Little Fires Everywhere, and she's also in a newer movie called 6888. Okay, so we ended on memoirs. I think that's a beautiful place to end, because we talked about fiction, we talked about really important reads, we talked about people's stories, and I think that is the point of Black History Month, is to talk about the history, but also Black stories and celebrate those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let us know if you're reading any books for Black History Month, and drop them in the comments.
I may or may not be. We'll see. Like, I don't know if I'm reading any for Black History Month this year, but I always end up picking up a book by a Black author.
Yeah. So you did see me purchase 7 Days in June live, so...
That's true. And I'm wanting to get to James Baldwin ASAP, so I might do Toni Morrison or James Baldwin as like my month read.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.